So there's a couple of Pokemon Center ETBs that I think are due for a massive price increase, and I'm going to go over those in today's video. These are all PC ETBs that have a very low supply and have a very thin floor, which means a couple of sales will push these ETBs very, very high. First and foremost is going to be Obsidian Flames. This one I recently picked up for about $320 if you saw my last video, but these are absolutely very, very scarce now, right? There's only 20 listed on TCG Player. It says 357 is the market price, but this is just the average. Right now the lowest listed is 425, as you guys can see. There's one listed for 425, and then it jumps up to 475, and then jumps up again to 488, 495, 499. So this is essentially going to be a $499 ETB, a $500 ETB, probably in a couple of days, because the average daily sold is, let's see, it's about one every single day that sells. You know, a couple of days there have been 4 sales, 3 sales. So in a couple of days, maybe 1 or 2 weeks max, I expect this to be a $500 ETB. So if you can find Obsidian Flames PC ETBs for under $350, I think it's a fantastic pickup. I actually might pick up another one for around that $350 range because I found a good deal online. A lot of these websites, guys, they don't update their listings every single day, right? They update it maybe every couple of weeks. So sometimes they see the market price as 360, and so they'll list it at 360, but they don't realize that the lowest listed is 420. So for a lot of these low listing ETBs and products, you can find good deals on them online if you search. So Obsidian Flames, anything under 350, I think is a fantastic pickup. This is easily a $500 ETB in a couple of days. Next one is Paldean Fates. I really need to get myself a Paldean Fates PC ETB. Currently, lowest listed is about $300. And as you guys can see, there's 30 listed, so a little bit more quantity than Obsidian Flames, but I would argue the Paldean Fates ETB is, could be more desirable. So this is definitely an S tier ETB if you saw my tier list ranking. And this floor also goes up very fast. So you have one at, $298 plus $14.99 shipping, and then jumps up to $305, jumps up to $312, and then jumps up to $344, $345. So this is in a couple of listings away from $350. And as you guys can see, 3 sold per day on average. So this sells a lot better than the Obsidian Flames one. So it'll move a lot quicker. So this is essentially a $350 ETB, and it goes up there from there as well. You can see 360, 370, 380. So the floor on this is also pretty thin. Anything under 300, so anything maybe in that 280 range, 290, I would think is a really, really great pickup, and I'm still trying to find myself a good deal on Paldean Fates. Next one, of course, is going to be 151. Now, this PC ETB has gone absolutely insane the past couple of weeks, as you guys all know, right? This was sitting in that 400 to 500 range for the longest time, and then once about July hit, this instantly shot up to $600, $700, and now $800. Now it's the lowest listed is $855, guys. You can probably still find it a little bit cheaper, maybe on eBay or on some other third-party sites where they haven't really updated it as much. But I would say even that is, it's really getting up there as well. Like, you're not going to find this for under $700. There's no way that you're going to find this under $700, and $855. And the floor shoots up really, really fast from there, right? It goes to $855, $849, $885, $899, $950, $997. So it's basically, a couple of buys away from being a $1,000 PC ETB, which I think it definitely will hit by the end of the year, if not more. So if you can get this for $800 or below, I would think that's a really, really great pickup. Even at today's market price of $855, I don't think you can go terribly wrong with it. Although I do think that there's other places to put your money where you can get a larger return on investment, because $855, this is already a pretty inflated price for a PC ETB, even though it is, of course, one of the greatest PC ETBs we've ever had. I still think, there's better places to put your money, but $855 is still not a terrible price for 151 Pokemon Center ETBs, right? One of the most sought after ETBs of all time. This probably will end up being one of the most sought after PC ETBs, right behind Evolving Skies, and maybe Prismatic, maybe once Prismatic gets up there in age, but you can't really go wrong with 151 right now. The next couple ones I'm going to cover are actually really underrated and really flying under the radar right now. So Temporal Forces, this is currently 164, but the lowest listed is 195, and the floor goes up from there pretty fast. So you have 195, 200, 219, 220, and then jumps up to 300, and jumps up to 300 and then 400. So there's not a lot of listings for Temporal Forces PC ETBs. There's only 10 quantity on the market right now on TCG Player. If you look on eBay, it's not going to be that many as well, right? This is one of the most underprinted PC ETBs in all of Scarlet and Violet. If you take a look, Temporal Forces 55,000 of each. So this is, you know, pretty much on par with Scarlet and Violet base and Paradox Rift, and even something like Obsidian Flames 151, Paldean Evolve. And if you can find this for in that 160 range, like I said, a lot of shops, they don't update their prices every single day. They do it maybe once a week, so they probably still have it for 150, 160. And right now, you know, the market price is pretty much at 190 to 200. So if you can find it for 150, I think it's a fantastic pickup. They're not going to print more of these. All of the PCTBs I'm going over in this video, they're not printing more of them, right? It's a very, very, very low probability that they even restock these on the Pokemon Center. So it's a really safe pickup, not prone to reprints. It's very exclusive, right? Pokemon Center stamps are going to be essentially the first edition stamps of the modern era, right? I think that's something that a lot of investors are starting to pick up on, and I really do think Pokemon Center ETBs are really going to be some of the grails of modern day investing, alongside booster boxes, of course. There's also this other variant of Temporal Forces ETBs, and this one, I believe it also, actually I'm not too sure which one has the Iron Thorns. It might be this green one that has the Iron Thorns. So I would actually prefer this one over the other promo. And this ETB is also at about that $190 price point, and you can see it goes up pretty fast from there. It goes to 250 and then to 290, 390, 500, right? This is an ETB that has a very, very thin floor. There's not that many listings, 14 total listings on TCG Player, right? If you can find this for that 160 range, once again, right? A lot of shops still have it listed for 160. I've seen many, many listings for that 160 range. It's not a bad buy at all. I would say this is one of the best buys for $160 that you can get on the market right now. And lastly, I want to look at Paradox Rift, right? This, of course, is another, kind of mid-tier set in the SV era, but I still think the Pokemon Center ETBs are still going to be one of the best investments that you can make in the SV era, and especially Paradox Rift, right? This is one of the least printed ETBs of all time. I think this actually might be the least printed PC ETB that we have in SV, right? 42,350 each. This is even less than Scarlet and Violet base, which is 47,500 each, less than Paldean Evolved, which is 49,500. I think this will age very, very nicely. Currently going for $199, so about $200, but you can still find this for about $150. You know, I've looked on many, many different third-party shops, and still a lot of them have it for that $170, $160, maybe even $150 range. You can find it for that price, 100%. Pick up Paradox Rift before it gets out of reach. You can see the floor is very thin on this as well. 200, 200, 220, 250, 250, 500, 1,000, right? There's not that many listed. There's only 12 listings of this. Once Bleach Trainer boxes get really, really rare, the floor really goes up really fast from there. So get into Paradox Rift while you can, in that $150 to $200 range. Same thing with this other Paradox Rift PC ETB, and this is actually pretty crazy. There's one listed for $120 plus $14.99 shipping. I don't know if this is an accident or if it was, this is how it is, but this is a really, really cheap price. This is $135 basically for a Paradox Rift PC ETB, right? Not being printed, one of the lowest printed PC ETBs we've ever had. I think this is a no-brainer. If I'm not going to pick this up, but if one of you guys want to buy it, then, by all means do it. I think that's a great price, and once again, the floor goes up pretty fast, right? Not as fast as the other one. I think there's actually more listings for this variant. Yeah, there's 19 total listings, but it goes from 120 to 150 to 160 to 170 to 200 pretty fast. So once again, guys, Paradox Rift, Temporal Forces, you have 151, Paldean Fates, and Obsidian Flames. I think these are all PC ETBs that have a very thin floor and can go up in price really, really fast. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.